Thanks for staying with us. Bleisure, workcation. I'm sure you're wondering what I'm talking about. Gauteng Tourism is showcasing these at the World Travel Market Africa. Now, this travel market has opened to thousands in the travel industry, in the professionals as well as companies as well. Barba Gaoganediwe from Gauteng Tourism speaks to us now about this. Barba, thank you so much for your time. I mean, I can only imagine how busy the day was. But when I was reading that press release, I was actually interested in finding out what is workcation and Bleisure.
And that's the beauty of the dynamism of tourism, or the visitor economy as we call it. With the advent of COVID and remote working and everybody now in Zoom being able to connect with you, that has permeated now into the field of how people consume travel. Gone are the days where travel was structured around school holidays only, or when we are on leave, or when we take specific days to go out, or when we observe religious holidays and the like. Now, with the advent of technology and the interconnected of the world, and how people consumption have changed, is that we are able to go out here in Cape Town at World Travel Market as a work excursion, and be able to infuse into that work a vacation or a staycation. So workation is a phenomenon in which work is now part of how people go in and consume tourism, travel, and experiences, especially in big connected diverse cities like Gauteng and Cape Town and Durban. This works very well. And as Gauteng Tourism were here in Cape Town at the World Travel Market Africa, to really pioneer this phenomenon, we have the infrastructure, we have the know-how, we have the connectivity, and most importantly, we have the perfect weather that allows for you to do your vacation. And we remain a leading Bleisure destination. That means you are also able to fuse in business and leisure.
And it's quite an interesting one. And I wonder what has been the reception to some of the people that you were presenting with too, because I can tell you now, I'm sold. I'm definitely sold. I'm even toying with ideas of maybe where to go.
It's a no-brainer. That's the direction the world is going through. And as Gauteng, which accounts to more than half of international arrivals into South Africa, which account to just over 33% of the country's economic GDP, we really have to be above everybody. We have to be over the curve. We have to innovate. We have to make sure that as we push this, we add into already the 38 billion that we have managed to amass into the tourism economy just by the end of March. And we are confident that with this infusion of vacation, Bleisure experiences, we will start people seeing now the benefit of our world-class infrastructure. We will also start seeing our SMMEs in the townships, in informal settlements and other areas, starting to also make these spaces, these attractions visitable, but also retrofit them for work purposes. That means more jobs. That means more technology for people.
And how did you then contend, I mean, with some of the challenges that people would be faced with, for example, crime, investments and tourism infrastructure, and some of the service delivery issues?
We're not shying away from it. Crime remains a big deterrent. It's a brand killer. We are here upfront indicating the initiatives that have been undertaken. Just today, as the Premier always say, more work, less talk. We have been able to send 2,500 military veterans just in Gauteng for specialized training that are going to be part of supporting the crime prevention wardens. Over 3,000 of them have already been equipped with state-of-the-art technologies. We know that all of this will not be enough if also our communities don't change how we interact with crime, because criminals are not coming from somewhere else, they are coming from our communities. So when our communities start seeing the benefits of tourism, when they start seeing it feeding their kids, it dressing their kids, and it's taking their siblings to school, they will be the first one to work with law enforcement agencies to deal with issues of crime. So from the side of the Gauteng Tourism, supported strongly by the initiatives of the Gauteng provincial government, we are here boldly indicating to our travel trade partners, we are indicating to those that are packaging, because the booking window for international travel just open now and the world travel market becomes that selling platform. We are reassuring them that this is not just for tourists, it's for the safety and security and comfort of the residents of Gauteng. And as they do their workation, as they do their staycations, they will do this under sound and safe environment. And we can only be working together as partners to start seeing the benefits of tourism and understanding that if we don't act as unison, we will be taking bread from the tables of those that are running tourism businesses, especially SMMEs.
And how then are you also making sure that the story of the South African tourism industry in the last 3 decades, because South Africa is marking 30 years of our democracy, and the tourism sector has also had to in itself find its place in South Africa today. How do you ensure that these particular reflections and the stories are also not lost in our story as a country?
Indeed, the story of 30 years of democracy, the story of tourism is very much intertwined with our culture, our heritage, our liberation, and our democracy history. And Gauteng has always been at the epicenter of all of this, from Bishop Desmond Tutu running the Truth and Reconciliation Commission after our freedom, to the inauguration of the first president, Nelson Mandela, at Union Building. In 1994, we didn't have the Apartheid Museum. We didn't have Constitution Hill. We didn't have the Gautrain. We didn't have the Mandela Bridge. We didn't have the Cradle of Humankind World Heritage Site. And 30 years later, as a result of our partnership with communities, with international bodies and multi-sectors, and led by the provincial government, we have world-class tourism infrastructure. We now need to maintain them. We now need to build phase 2 of this infrastructure in our townships. So the story of 30 years of democracy, 30 years of tourism growth in Gauteng is brightened by the infrastructure we have. In 2009, we launched 2 carriage of the Gautrain. Right now, we're talking about phase 2 of Gautrain, an important corridor that links airport and Sandton, which is our business and tourism hub. The only street in the world where you had 2 Nobel laureates in Vilakazi Street living side by side is now featured in Monopoly. It was not there structured in 1994 when this democracy started. Now we are investing injecting 38 billion into the economy. Just this financial year, more than 3,500 people have been enrolled in job opportunities in the tourism sector. This is the story that we are presenting, but we are equally not just looking back, Bongi. We are looking forward. We are presenting the story of the Lansaria Smart City. We are presenting the story of the special economic zone in the Vaal. We want to turn the Vaal into our coastal water sport and marine destination. We are not just taking it low that we don't have water or the sea. We are working on investment here in Cape Town through the Africa Investment Forum to look at opportunities to build the Gauteng of the future we want to see, where the Vaal River, through its airport and its SEZ, become part of how we ignite tourism to double the numbers from the 2.3 million to over 6 million in the next 5 years.
All right, Barba, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. That was Gauteng Tourism spokesperson, Barba Gaoganediwe.